welcome to Beauty Beneath the Surface. I'm Carmen. I'm excited to start with our topic for today, which is self-love. As you see, I've kind of changed the environment. I wanted it to be like a nice little rap session, just like if you kind of were like coming over to meet with some girlfriends and just kind of just, talk and everything like that. Kind of a little bit more intimate. um yeah, today's topic is self-love. It was one that I was excited to get to, but yet a little bit intimidated, because we normally like to talk about things that are our strengths, not things that we've had to work very hard at. You ask me about color or something like that, I can talk fluidly. You ask me about this or that, different products, I can flow fluidly. But see, the real thing is that's what Beauty Beneath the Surface is about. It's about kind of sometimes doing and undoing something. Just like if you're about to change your room around, or you're gonna pull everything out of that room, assess what you need, assess what's been working for you, and see what's not been working for you, and be willing. That pair of pants, for example, that you might have. Oh, well, I'm gonna get back into that size 4. You hold on to that, just like a lot of times we hold on to old beliefs that don't serve us, just like that old pair of pants. It's outdated. The pants don't fit anymore. They were sharp and expensive and worked for one point, but they no longer have value. And so it's willing to, kind of dissimulate yourself. So for me, the self-love journey, it actually still continues. There have been a lot of improvements over years. And so that's why I want to share. This channel is about going inside, seeing, just really an inside job. Beauty is an inside job. It's not just an outside job. It's an inside job. I would much rather see a person that we can always cosmetically, as we've seen through the different channels, just take somebody that be practically unrecognizable. But let's be unrecognizable on the inside. So we started our topic talking about self-worth. And what it was is it was knowing that your gift has value. And so what it was appealing to at that particular time was, a lot of times we play ourselves kind of short, and thinking that, oh well, this what I have. Everybody, your mother and people and everybody told you how this and that works, but somehow based on what's going on here, you don't perceive it. You don't perceive it to be of value. So we already talked about that, but it is getting to know that you have value from the moment that you came on this earth. From the moment that you were conceived, you have value. Define value. It's something that is worth something. Okay, so you were worth something from the day that you were conceived to the day that you came on the earth. The fact that you made it on the earth means that you have something that was supposed to benefit this earth, right? Now, it is a journey, right? It is an adventure. So the biggest thing to be validated is, loving yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. And so a lot of us, the way that people are treating each other, you see that we have a love deficit, a self-love deficit. If you love your neighbor as you love yourself, then there's certain things that wouldn't happen. So first topic I want to talk about is self-approval, approving of self. Some people, and it shows up, you can tell the people a lot of times that may have had encouragement and guidance, and it kind of helped them to kind of navigate themselves a little easier through life. And sometimes life happens, and then it can make that what you knew, it can kind of obscure your vision on life, and most of all of yourself. So be willing to take everything loose, to reassemble your mind. Be renewed by the transforming of our minds. And once you get that concept and you start seeing yourself in that particular light, you're like, okay, now what was I put here to do? Some people just have the gift of encouragement. We won't talk about those people that have the gift of disencouragement, but some people have the gift of encouragement. That's a purpose, that's a gift, that's a purpose. Our destiny is it's our daily choices. It's our daily choices, things that we're choosing. And you also want to be in alignment to what it is that that you're supposed to be doing. What I want to define is that self-worth is not what you do. Self-worth is what you are. That happens before you even wake up good. It's not, oh well, I'm doing this particular job. We know that we are on this earth and we are in a constant state of flux. That's what the Orientals use. That means change. And so being able to approve of self, like, what are those things about me that I love? Some people be like, I like the fact that I'm able to just pick up on things, quickly, or I like the fact of, I have an interest in the arts. I have an interest in science. Those are things that are still external, but it's like, get into that, start moving in that vein, and realize that anything that was contrary to how we came on this earth, just prizes. And anything that may have happened along the way, whether it be in childhood, infancy, or even teenage or adult, realize that you were not whatever happened to you. You are. Every day we have to make decisions to be better, to be stronger, to take maybe even some things that weren't even good and actually help somebody else. That kind of makes me feel good, because what happens, I'm about to go into a coughing fit. What happens is when I'm helping somebody with maybe something that I've been through, it's like, okay, it was worth it. It had a value. And moving from that, going into self-care. We talked about self-care. We had about 7 things. It was, spiritual replenishment, rest, ask for help when you need it, reward yourself, don't overcommit, stand up, a no is a complete sentence. Taking care of yourself, self-care. Some of us have self-love deficit disorder. People used to call it codependency. It's where you can take care of everything and everybody else and everything and everybody else. And some of us were trained to be that person to run around, taking care of this and taking care of that at the expense of our own health a lot of times, and even happiness. So it's retraining your brain to be able. The codependent is, I always thought that it was somebody running behind somebody just passing out, drunk. And not to anybody that's going through that. It's not to make light of that, but that's what I thought codependency was. But some of us are trained to make other people feel good, and so what ends up happening is, and that's the way that we got validation. That's the way that outside approval came. But what ends up happening is you will end up attracting mates with that same character, and then you're wondering why you can't get any of your emotional needs met. That's because you weren't meeting your own needs in the first place. um Self-love is definitely an inside job. There's no amount of money, there's no type of recognition, there's no type of outside validation that's going to happen until that inside validation happens. And so in this world, it often is a challenge not to be swayed. um it is constantly knowing that you have to do the work. You have to do the work. Be willing to learn and unlearn. In order to learn new things, you have to unlearn those things that weren't working for you. And not only were they not working for you, they weren't working for anybody else that was connected to you. So be willing to, to part from those particular things. Self-love is, for me, an ongoing process. I was listening to a pastor the other day, and he was, I think it was, he was saying, to say no so you can get the yes of God. It was something to that capacity. I can't say it right. And I was like, oh yeah, that used to be me. I was a fixer. And then I realized it was a situation that I was still showing some of those traits, where I was more concerned about how somebody else felt, knowing what I had to do, but was more concerned for something that was not working for me at the expense of somebody else's emotions. So it's like, okay, there it is, it's showing up. So when when it's something that has been embedded in you, it shows up, but it's up to you to recognize, to be mindful of that. So it's like, once I had to approach it, I was able to approach it a particular, different type of way than I normally would have. And when you don't love yourself, you'll notice that if you're not respecting yourself, there's nobody. And I know I've said it different type of ways, and different, before, but the love is not coming, until you love yourself. You can fix up, you can put on the latest eyeshadow, you can just, wake up and slay. But if you are not accepting of yourself, whatever that is comprised of, when you're not living your truest self, when you're doing what other people expect you to do, and believe me, that goes real fast. You can do something for 20 years, but I'm telling you, in 3 or 4 years, everything will be forgotten. You see what I'm saying? It will be forgotten. And it is up to you to sometimes, in order to discipline everybody around you, you have to discipline yourself. And it may be disappointing some people. And there are many things that I will touch on, so many things. I don't want to go into a lot of things with me, but believe me, if I'm telling you something, it's not something, how some people, they'll tell you, it's hard for somebody to tell somebody about poverty or teach somebody about coming up out of poverty if you haven't experienced it. So everything that I say is something that I had, that I had to learn, and that I had to get in touch with, even at the expense of my own health. And it's something that I don't believe in wearing it, but the fact that it happened, it reminds me, how people put like a little rubber band on their wrist just to kind of pinch themselves. Oh, let me remember this. Well, because I used to take on the world, and people, as long as I took on the world, people allowed me to take on the world. And I have a little, ulcer that lets me know, hey, you were doing too much. Now, one thing about it, if you make some mistakes, you're gonna make mistakes along the way, and don't allow somebody else's mistakes to affect your life. If it's something that you did that you caused it, but not external, but that a lot of that comes with the way that we process things. If we have been victims in the past, we feel we almost are looking for looking for the axe to fall, and that's not a way to go through life. And so it's like letting go. And as long as you look forward to good things happening, different things will happen in life. Now, this is not a rose-colored glasses type of session, but if you're looking for the good will happen. And if you're looking for the bad the bad is going to happen sometimes when you're looking for the good. So it's training your mind to expect the best outcome. If you're praying and you're doing everything that you can do that's within your power, let's not get airy fairy either.